after fucking 15 years of EA saying, no, we're not gonna make Skate 4, they ended up making Skate 4. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the ugliest games I've ever seen in my life, okay? But it's also one of the most fun games I've played this year. See, I'm a little conflicted on how to judge Skate 4 because, you know, all the mechanics that make a skate game great is still there, but everything around it is just so fucking bland and ugly. So let's start with the positives, because there's definitely a lot to say about this game. Now, easily the best thing about this game is the actual onboard gameplay mechanics, which I was surprised at how much fun I was having with them. Skate 4, without a doubt, is the best feeling skateboarding game I've played since Skate 3. You know, Skate has always been leaps and bounds above its competitor because it's able to so easily strike that balance between realism and arcadiness. Because you know how it is, right? You know, dog shit publisher revives a dead IP. They have some random ass, you know, no-name studio working on it. Like, it has all the makings of a shitty revival game, right? Except it's not. Skate 4 has some great onboard mechanics. It's able to strike the balance between arcadian realism that Skate has done so well in the past. Though, I will admit, the game does lean a lot on the arcadey side. The board feels a little less weighty than it did in the previous games, and tricks are a lot easier to pull off. Now, I'm not saying the game feels completely weightless like Tony Hawk, but it just leans more into the fun over challenge category. The easiest way I can describe it is basically how easy mode feels in Skate 3. Still has somewhat a hint of realism, but overall very arcadey and very easy to nail crazy combos. When you go back and play Skate 3, you'll notice in Skate 4 how much easier they make the game, with speed being super easy to get, grinds snap to an object a lot easier, and flip tricks are just overall easier to pull off. And landing sketchy doesn't really have much of an impact on your overall line. And like I said, this isn't really a knock on the game at all. The game's art direction is basically just chilling with the homies and pulling off crazy combos, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, I will admit, vert skating takes a big dive in this entry. It just kind of seems like the game has a hard time understanding the physics of a board going up and down a half pipe. It's like it's more challenging to get air in this one, but going up a ramp, you get speed easier. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know, it's not great, it's not horrible, it just seems like the physics are a little wonky here and there, but you know, like I said before, the game is still early access, so hopefully they'll kind of tweak that a little bit and make it feel a little better. But overall, barring a few hiccups here and there, I feel like the onboard mechanics feel fantastic. You know, when you snap onto a planter and grind it and just hear that board crunch on the concrete, it's just seriously like one of the best feelings ever. Like, I'm just so unbelievably happy that the series is just back, and it's actually not horrible. We've been missing just an arcadey, fun, analog stick-based skateboarding game for so long, and I'm just so happy to have the OG back. And you know, while we're on the subject of the game returning to form, it does a really great job of keeping the goofiness of Skate alive. They kind of brought Hall of Meat back, so you can bail and do a spread eagle and all that type of shit. You know, jump off skyscrapers and get back up like nothing type shit. So that's fun, that's still there. And also the world is designed to have absolutely ridiculous jumps and tricks everywhere. Going back to the vert skating, I kind of feel like that's why vert skating is not a big thing in this game, because the vert skating is supposed to be this huge, you know, jumping off skyscrapers and stuff, not just like doing bowls anymore like in Skate 3. And I want to give a shout out to the offboard mechanics as well. At first, I was kind of hesitant looking at the clips of the alpha version. Like, this is going to kind of take away from the experience. You know, why the fuck are you doing, you know, parkour, wasting resources on climbing and shit like that? But no, the parkour genuinely does help the game along. You know, one of the biggest things about Skate 3 is that while it's a perfect game, I always was a little bummed that we couldn't have total freedom just to, like, you know, go to the top of a skyscraper and build a ramp. We were always limited to the awkward and sensitive offboard controls. But freedom is the key word with Skate 4. There's an absolute freedom to just hop off your board and climb up to wherever you want and build things wherever you want super easy. Like, Skate 3 is a great game. It's not missing really anything, but this right here is what it was missing. Like I said, the game is good, but now without its drawbacks. Skate 4 took all the right steps when it comes to gameplay, onboard mechanics, stuff like that. But you know, everything around that, like the actual peripheral parts of the game, just kind of fucking suck. I'm having a little bit of crisis with this game, I'm not gonna lie, because like, it has everything that I want in a skate game, but it also has everything that I absolutely did not want in a skate game. First, I just have to get this out the way. The character models are just fucking ugly as shit to look at. The thing is, the actual map and world have a hyper realistic look to them, but for some reason they decided to make the character models look like Fortnite, a weird decision that just inherently makes the rest of the game seem uglier by association. And also, bro, the characters just have no fucking drip at all. You know what I mean? It's like all like the cool clothes and the boards and stuff are all locked behind this, progression, loot-based rarity fucking nonsense. The progression in the game revolves around your wardrobe and accessories, basically. Very much like a Fortnite model. You start out looking like a dork, just some cargo pants and a blue shirt. And the way to get more clothes and accessories is to basically open loot boxes. You spend your currency that you earn by completing challenges to open these loot boxes. Hey, you see that little picture there associated with the loot box? Well, the number and progress bar associated with that loot box is actually how many you have to open before you're rewarded that item. And there is no way to open them multiple at a time. You just have to sit there for minutes opening up loot boxes before you're able to obtain that item. You technically don't have to spend any real money to get your wardrobe up, and it's honestly not even that hard to get the money to open the loot boxes. It's just such an ugly and dog shit progression system that just makes you go through hoops for no reason. Just the concept of adding item rarity to a game like Skate just seems so cringe and annoying. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm biased. I just fucking cannot stand rarity based loot in video games. I fucking hate it. But let's say you want to skip all the grinding and just deck your guy out from the jump. Well, you can do that by dropping some real money. Now, I'm not going to slam the microtransactions too hard. The game is free to play, so it's to be expected, but Jesus Christ, this stuff costs an arm and a leg, dude. Like $45 for one pack is just absolutely outrageous pricing. But whatever, it's not mandatory. Your guy can just look like a fucking dweeb for a bit while you grind those loot boxes, I guess. Another note about the game being ugly is just the corporate, sanitized, gentrified feeling of everything and everyone in the game. You know how like in Skate 3, you have like Shingo always following you with the camera? He's like this, just like the super chill guy that'd make comments every now and then. Well, in this one, you have some fucking nondescript AI blue robot called V. And that alone wouldn't really be a problem, but it's the fact that all the voices in the game just sound like straight up just AI slop.
The RIP initiative. The more things you do in each neighborhood, the better your reputation with the locals. The SBCC will reward you if your reputation climbs enough. If you're wondering why your slams don't hurt, you can thank a local startup called Impervatech for that. They cooked up a solution that allows shredders and stunters to hawk with abandon.
Hey, what's up? I'm Shingo, skater, ex-filmer, and city councilor. Izzy pinged me. She asked me to give you the rundown on the replay editor.
I'm gonna give you this camera, but first let me just tell you a couple of pointers. Number one, don't talk too much. People don't like that.
Okay.
And the thing is, bro, is that they're not even real characters. They're just JPEGs with voice lines. Like, this is literally like mobile game level dog shit right here. Thank God you can turn the voice audio off, because the constant talking in your ear is insufferable. And I guess the most egregious sin out of all of Skate 4's problems is that the new developers, they just don't really seem to understand skateboarding culture or games or anything. You can tell Black Box loves skateboarding. They poured their heart and soul, their blood, sweat, and tears into Skate out of nothing more than pure passion for the sport and the culture. This new Skate doesn't really feel like the devs know anything about skateboarding, other than just what you can read on like a Wikipedia page. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on what the game is missing because it's still early access, like it's damn near still in alpha phase, but the game is missing a lot of content. Like, there's no death races, there's no one-up, no skate, no tranny or street contests. Like, there's really nothing except like 3 different types of challenges. There's a line challenge, a point challenge, and kind of like a own the spot. And that's pretty much it for now. Like, everything from the old offline skates that you would expect to be in an online only skate is just simply not there, which is pretty odd. So overall, I think Skate 4 is a good game. I would recommend it. At best, it's a nice return to form and a welcome entry to a genre that has been severely missing it. We've been missing Skate for a long, long time, and I'm just happy to have it back. But, at worst, it's just a soulless corporate cash grab that's just so bland and so ugly. It's got like it's like a diamond in the rough. It has the great mechanics that it needs to be a good game, but just everything around it with the microtransactions and the character models are just so bad. It's designed like a mobile game. It's got the 2 different currencies and that type of shit. It has no real connection to the previous Skates and what made Skate such a cultural phenomenon in the 2000s. There was just like an aura around Skate back in the day. It had kind of like that EA Big style, stylized, counterculture style. It's just so endearing to go back and play nowadays because it's just like a time capsule of mid-aughts skateboarding culture. And this one just feels so bland and unexciting when you look at it. It's just like a ChatGPT version of how you'd write a skate game in 2025. But like I said before, none of the dressing around it takes away from the fact that it is a fantastic skateboarding game at its core on a mechanical level. Skate 4 might not understand what made Skate great, but it definitely understands what made Skate fun to play, if that makes sense. But me, for the most part, I'm just happy to have a skate game back in the zeitgeist. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.